Guys, please join me for the pledge of allegiance. I
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everybody, for coming. Today's date is June 11th, 2018. It's 6:30. This is the City of Motley's regular council meeting. First, I want to make sure everybody's mics are on. Test, test, test. Can you guys hear us back there?
Check.
Everybody's on? Okay. All right, we're going to do roll call. Lacey, you want to do roll call, please?
Councilmember Johnson,
Here.
Councilmember Hutchison,
Here.
Mayor Yoder,
Here.
Councilmember O'Regan,
Here.
Councilmember Carlson.
Here.
All right, thank you, Lacey. Any additions or deletions to the agenda? Does anybody have anything you want to pull out or put in?
I'd like to make an addition
Okay,
to the agenda. I'd like to make the possible addition of temporary intermittent officers to the police department.
okay, we'll put that under 4. Okay, anybody have anything else?
Yeah,
Steve?
I'd like to put also for possible cameras in the park.
Okay, where do you want to put that under? The parks in the community? Do we have a place for parks?
That'd be fine.
We'll do it under new business. So let's do it under new business, which is number 10. We'll do it is G. Okay, anybody have anything else? All right, I'm looking for a motion to approve the agenda, consent agenda from A to E.
I will make that motion.
Okay, motion made by Carlson, looking for a second.
Second.
Second by O'Regan. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Number 6, we have a summary of the May 14, 2018 closed meeting. Summary of the closed meeting was held on May 14th. The closed session was a performance evaluation for a public work director, Bruce Brotherton. Performance was determined to be highly satisfactory, receiving 50.8 points out of 56. Congratulations, Bruce. All right. Planning and zoning. Pat, you have anything?
Don't have anything this month.
Okay, we'll move forward to the building department. Anybody have anything for the building department? All right, old business, looks like we have a resolution 2018-17, and that's going to be on page 14 and 15. It's accepting donations of the fire department in the amount of $410.
And those are the funds that were previously discussed that came to the Relief Association but were made out to the fire department.
Okay.
And Jim Ullman, treasurer, indicated that they had agreed that putting it in the fire truck fund was an appropriate use, if
Perfect.
that's okay with the council.
Perfect. I'm looking for a motion to approve the resolution.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, motion made by Johnson, looking for a second.
I would second that.
Second by Hutchinson. Any more discussion?
I just have a quick one. No, Lacey, that will show up in their budget as being added, correct?
My idea was to put it in the capital projects fund, the 401 fund, for specifically for the fire truck.
Okay.
And that will show up there.
Okay.
Yep.
As long as the chief and the firefighters are aware of where that's
I
going.
believe so,
you
because
guys
if it goes
see-
into this year's budget, then it has to be spent this year, but
Oh,
if
I
we
understand.
transfer it
Okay,
to the 401 fund, it's specifically for the truck.
okay.
And I'll abstain from voting on this one.
Okay, Anybody have anything else? All right, and all in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. B is accepting grant funds from the Staples Motley Community Foundation and a partner fund of Initiative Foundation, page 16 and 17. Looks like we got one for $1,995 to purchase and install new park benches. Bruce, my understanding is you did the work on these.
Fill out the application.
Oh, good, thank you.
Good job.
So I'm looking at a motion to approve the grant fund of $1,995 for the new park benches.
I will make that motion.
Okay, motion made by Carlson, looking for a second.
Second.
Second by O'Regan. Any more discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Second one is for the amount of $2,000 to purchase and install new Converse Park signs. I'm looking for a motion to approve that.
I would make that motion.
Motion made by Hutchinson, looking for a second.
I will second that.
Second by Carlson. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Does anybody have any unfinished business they want to bring forward? All right, new business. Fire Department response and billing, Maggie and John Manetta, is that how I pronounce it?
Yes.
All right, you have the floor, page 18.
I wanted to talk to the council about the fire that we had back on May.
Okay,
I don't know if you need me to stand or just sit here. It probably would be helpful if I start from the beginning, because the fire calls were 4 and they lasted over 31 hours over a period of time. The reason that we have kind of an issue with the billing is I'd like to just discuss exactly what happened on every call that came out, because there were some things that were very unethical and unprofessional with certain members of the Motley Volunteer Fire Department. The first call came in at about 11:47 a.m. My daughter had just moved in that previous day on Thursday. I got the call after she called 911 and I left Aiken. As I left Aiken on opening fishing weekend and got to the property in Motley, the fire department was leaving already from the first call. They left, I asked them, I gave them my name, address, phone number. I'd never been in a fire before, didn't know what to do. They advised me, if you have insurance, call your insurance company. I said, is there anything else I need to do with you guys? And they said, you know, you'll get a bill, so just pay the bill, and they left.
so
Of
no,
course,
just hey, give me a second, what fire did you have, just so we all
a
know?
fire at
Is
the
it a
trailer
house fire, or-
house, it was a house fire.
Okay.
Out on 124th Street, right off
Okay.
Mosquito Creek Road. The property, I was there after they left, I called the insurance company. I was on the phone with the insurance company, but prior to me calling them, I opened the door to the house to look inside, and at that time, the floor in the kitchen where the fire had sort of originated from was still smoking. So I was on the phone with the insurance company, and then all of a sudden smoke is coming out the windows because it was windy. And smoke is coming back. I called the fire department back the second time. They came and responded. The first truck got there, and I know one of the firefighters, Mike Zimmerman, was there. I don't know the other firefighter. They started, you know, kind of cutting into the side of the house to put the fire out and, you know, ripping some stuff off to keep spraying water on it. And another truck pulled in with 2 more firefighters. And in the meantime, the Motley police officer had pulled in with 2 oxygen tanks that I thought was odd. So I asked him why he was there with oxygen tanks, and he said they had fallen off the truck on their way to respond the second time. So I explained to the guys, they weren't there very long. They were finishing up, they left before I did. I explained to them I was nervous about the east wind, all the dead grass. We had actually moved from the property last summer. We bought a lake home in Aiken, so I'm over an hour and 10, 15 minutes away from there. And I did not want that east wind to start Mosquito Creek on fire. It was my big fear of getting fined by the DNR, because it's nothing but swamp grass out there. They said it was not a problem and they left, and I talked my daughter into staying there, even though the house at that point was not livable, was fairly destroyed, there was no salvaging it. She stayed, I left. I no sooner got down the road, and this was the first incident that I think is super unethical. Mike Zimmerman and I share a mutual friend. I know Mike just in passing, I don't know him on a personal level. I no sooner didn't even get to Pillager, and he had her contact me to ask me if I wanted to sell my property to him. To me, that was a little conflict of interest. You're just at my house twice putting the fire out, you know, and you're asking to buy my property. So I kind of blew it off, no big deal. But then my daughter, before she could leave that Friday night at 4 o'clock, calls the fire department back yet the third time. So my first 3 bills are within 4 hours of each other. And then this bill says that they use thermal imaging, I guess, the third bill, and got it below 90 degrees to put the fire out. And I didn't know that. I didn't know that they had come out the third time. She actually went to stay with friends. So Saturday, the following day now is Saturday, we show up out there, because she was moving in, so she had her Blazer there full of items, her own personal items. We brought her motorcycle out with us on Saturday, checked out the new damage of the house from the 3 fire calls, had a look at it, you know, how structure was still standing, same hole in the wall, the kitchen's open to the outside, we could see the burned grass. We left there about 1 o'clock Saturday afternoon. I got a phone call about 7:30 that I did not receive because we were fishing until closer to 10 on Saturday night from my neighbor, saying that they had to call Motley Fire Department back out yet again because now the whole house is in flames, and the 1/4 acre alongside of it on the way to Mosquito Creek, now the grass is burnt. So things that weren't even close to the house had burnt. The car in the front yard was melted. We never got a phone call from the Motley Fire Department, so I had asked the neighbor at 10 to 10 at night to please go down there and find out if we need to come, because it's going to be a long drive and I don't know what they're looking at there. He goes down, he talks to a couple firefighters, and this is where I get very, very upset and angry. While I'm on the phone with him, he is talking to one of your firefighters, Bert Herman, who is in the process, and I have the photos, of scraping the paint off the serial number of my daughter's motorcycle because he thinks something looks suspicious because there's a vehicle there like a squatter would full of items. He then says, with this flashlight checking the VIN number, her back window's broke out with plexi on it. The car is locked. He is going to write down the VIN number and go ahead and get in the vehicle because something seems suspicious. The neighbor who we've known for 10 years says, you can't go in that vehicle. While I'm on the phone, you can't go in that vehicle. You don't have a search warrant and you're not a police officer. It seemed like it was just a mess. And now I've got 4 bills totaling $2,800, and I just don't know where you draw the line between how many times does it take to put out a fire. Why are 2 firefighters doing things so unethical? You know, we've lived in Motley one way or the other for 40 years and paid taxes, and it just seemed like we were treated like the house, of course, is overgrown. No one's lived there in a year. It's not in the best, it's an old trailer house, but it just felt like it was a certain, I'm not saying all of you guys, I'm not saying the whole Motley Fire Department's bad, and I know there's 3 of them in here right now, if not more. I'm saying that those 2 firefighters, what happened was unprofessional and unethical, and I shouldn't have to ask my neighbor to go down and protect personal property from a firefighter. You know, it's like you're there to put the house out. If the house is destroyed now, I mean, it's laying flat. There's nothing left. It burnt the grass, it burned a couple lawnmowers, it burnt more things than it had originally been in claim. And he tells the neighbor, this was Saturday night, you tell her to expect that the state fire marshal will be out here doing an arson investigation on Mother's Day, so she better be ready tomorrow for that. No investigator came out. Our insurance company, because we have terrific insurance, sent a fire investigator out. It passed. We've received all of our payout on the claim for the damages. It's just, it was like between gossip and destroying personal property and then making an unethical phone call to buy property that you were just there trying to put out twice. I just have a real bad taste in my mouth. I'm sorry, but I'm angry, I'm disappointed, I'm humiliated, I got degraded. You know, I'm mad.
Okay. Well, first of all, I want to apologize just for your loss of your fire.
Thank you.
I mean, that itself is tragedy, and I think, you know, I wouldn't want anybody to go through that. The other issue is, you know, we're, obviously, none of us are aware of any of that stuff.
That's
And
why I'm here.
so we will do a little digging, and maybe I, myself, and the fire chief will get back with you, and we'll try to see what we come up with,
Yeah, I would appreciate that. I
okay?
mean, I'm not saying I'm not gonna pay these bills, I'm just saying we gotta come up with some kind of compromise. I don't know what the right amount of time is, I don't know.
There is no right amount of time on a
Okay,
fire, it
I
could be
kinda
anything.
figured there wasn't. It just seems to me 3 quick calls in such a short period of
Three
time.
quick calls, and all I charged you for on the 3 quick calls was the first initial hour is $500,
Okay.
and it's $300 an hour after that.
Yeah.
On the rekindle calls, both of them,
Yeah.
I charge you $300 a piece
I
for 1
got,
hour.
they're bigger than that. I've got one bill, the first initial bill was $800, which I totally agree with because you guys had to come out. You didn't ask for my house to burn down. But then I got the second one, which was only $300. I got the third one 4 hours later for $600. And then I've got the last one for $1,100.
Which was 2 hours.
Well, you just said you did only charge me $300 for the other 2 after that.
I'm saying
See,
for
and I
the extra
never-
hours. I
And I
didn't
never
charge
got-
you the additional $500 to show up.
That's fine. I don't know how that breaks down. How is a property taxpayer supposed to know how the city of Motley charges? And why when you go out on Saturday night and there's nobody who lives there, do you not call me? I mean, if I'd been on vacation like we were 2 weeks prior to the house burning down.
Because that's not my priority to get a hold of the landowner, I'm there to put out a fire.
Well, I know, I'm just wondering who is responsible for
You-
telling a landowner their
You know,
house
the
burned
thing
down?
is, you know, we do have some new firefighters, and I know he's been here for a while, but it's not, this is the first chief's position you've held, or no?
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's in a learning process too.
Yeah.
We'll dig into it and we'll get back with you.
Yeah.
See what we can help you with. Thank you though for sharing, and we'll,
Sorry for the inconvenience.
Well, no, it wasn't an inconvenience, it was
I
just.
mean, for the couple firefighters, but.
I know, I don't want you guys are getting mad, you're getting angry, these two already kind of with their dander up right away knowing that I'm here. I don't want you guys mad at me.
no,
didn't
I
know
think
my
they're
house
more
was
embarrassed than
burning.
anything, and I think the rest of us are, if it's true, and we haven't dug into it, investigated it yet, but if it's true that the two did what you're claiming they
I
did.
have photos of the bike if you'd like to see it.
No, I believe you.
And then
Like
they
I
were
said,
right there when he did it.
we'll dig into it, and then we'll discuss it, and then we'll come back with you, okay? And does the city have your phone number and information, or can I get that from you?
We moved, so I can
Okay.
give that to you.
What is your phone number?
218-414-0003. I know it's on the first fire
So
report.
it's 0003?
3, yeah,
Okay. And what's your name again?
Maggie,
Maggie, okay. Maggie, we'll get back with you, okay?
thank you. I just want to say, I don't want these guys to feel like that we don't appreciate what they do.
No,
I
I-
appreciate everything you guys do. It's
Yeah.
just the two. It's just a couple incidents that would just made the whole thing a sour taste in my mouth,
Yeah.
that's all.
All right. Well, we appreciate not judging the whole department for a couple mistakes, but we also appreciate we want to know those kind of things, so, thank you. All right, so we'll move forward, and at some point here, Jace, I'll get, who's the fire liaison? You are.
Yes.
I will get with you and we'll discuss a plan, and we'll meet with you and we'll figure something out, so. All right, let's move on. The next one is the water tower lease agreement, it's page 19 and 35. It's a pretty long agreement. Did you guys have a chance to read it? Any of you guys?
I read most of it. My question is this the ones, are they talking about the ones on the side or the top, or is this just the general agreement?
Top of the tower, I believe, right? This is one that goes on the ring?
Could be on the belt line.
Okay.
And I think, Lacey, you had mentioned some things that you wanted to just bring our attention.
Yeah, so Bruce and I have reviewed this quite in depth over the last 5 months or so. It's gone back, Bruce and I made some changes, went back to Verizon's attorneys, came back to us, made some more changes, went to our attorney, and now this is where the agreement we're at. One thing I spoke with the attorney about today is it's an agreement for 5 years at a time. It automatically renews for 4 terms. So it's in essence, it's a 20-year agreement. After that, it can renew for additional terms of 5 years apiece. After the first 5 years, the contract states that they will raise the rent 110%. So they're giving us, or it'll be 110% of the amount before. So it's a 10% increase, 2% per year. But as the attorney and I were talking, usually when you do long-term agreements like this, you'd like to at least keep up with inflation, which is closer to 3 or 4%. And he said he's seen other agreements that were up to 5%. So our options right now are we leave it at the 110% going up every 5 years, or we can change it to 125% and sort of see what Verizon says. Maybe they'll give us 125% for renewals, or maybe they'll say 110, or maybe they'll come somewhere in between. So that's something you guys should decide. The attorney did add in a few fees that we hadn't before, covering the attorney's costs, a signing fee. And I know somebody had brought up concern, can we still add other, like could other cell companies come in, and they still could? We would just have to have a similar agreement with them. We can't say, oh, the next one only has to pay $5,000 a year. We have to have it similar to the one we have with Verizon. And then, yeah, open for any questions you guys might have. You don't have to act on this tonight if you don't want to, if you're not prepared yet or have more questions. If everything looks good, we'll send it to Verizon's attorneys and see what they say. If they make substantial changes, we could bring it back, or you guys could approve me signing it without changes, or if there are no substantial changes. So.
Bruce, who's paying for the ring itself? Are we? Or is Verizon doing that?
No, they should pay for anything they have to add on
Okay.
there.
So if we have the second company come in, obviously the rent would be a little bit cheaper because of the ring, or how does that gonna work?
Or they'd have to pay if they need to add stuff too, I mean, for their portion of it.
Right, but they're gonna attach it to the same ring, my understanding is, right?
We're looking at the walkway around the top. They don't
Okay.
wanna be on the very top like we originally talked. They wanna be on the walkway, and it sounded like it might be strong enough the way it is. But
Oh.
we'll have to wait for the engineering report to come back to find that out.
Okay. What do you guys think of the, 110%?
125 sounds better.
It always does.
So we could get 0. End up saying, no, we don't wanna do it, I don't know, I'm just saying. I guess I don't wanna chop off one leg that's feeding us, so.
Well, like Lacey said, the attorney says he'd like to try and at least keep up with inflation. And inflation, I think, runs more than, what has come out to 2% is what 10% would be, 2% per year. So I'm thinking 20-25% would be closer to inflation. At least when I go shopping, it is.
And I don't anticipate us asking to change it is gonna make them pull out of the agreement, but obviously that's a chance, there's
Yeah.
a chance we're taking. I would think that they would just come back with a different number or say no and then give us the option, but again, that's,
Yeah, here's my card.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
so I just wanna put that
So we
out
could
there
throw
so you
it,
guys
we
are
could throw it
aware.
on there once and see, what you guys think.
Yeah, it may not hurt.
Steve, you have any input on this?
No, I don't think it would hurt at all.
Okay.
Doesn't hurt to try.
Okay.
I think it's a fair request, so.
As long Sounds like they're kind of in agreement that 25%. Start out with, and whatever we get, right?
Well, and that's just it. Do you guys want me to bring it back to council after that, before I sign? Or if there are no other big changes, go ahead, that's up to you guys.
I'm okay with 110%, and then if we get more, great. If they decline it, I mean, we're still getting a good, that's all.
Is that the only question they're gonna have, is the
No,
percentage?
they might, that's what I'm saying, if there are no substantial changes, then you guys, if they change other things, I will bring it back to you. I'm not
I
gonna
almost
sign
feel
it
like
with, or we can just bring it back in
We need
July.
to vote on it in July. Just to keep things clean,
That's fine,
Cause this was gonna be 2019, right?
yeah.
yeah.
So one more
Right,
month
Bruce?
is not like it's
Okay.
not a
Yeah,
huge
they've
thing.
been asking about it, but Bruce is under the impression that it's probably not happening until next year
We have to do
anyway,
the water
so.
tower, paint that before, don't we?
I'd like to, yes, definitely. I was under the impression, talking to them, they wanna get all the contracts done this year, and it probably won't get anything on it until it'd be early spring or something.
And then payments don't start until they actually start putting equipment on.
Okay.
So if we vote on it next month, we'll be good then, we should be.
I think so. Are there any other, so I guess before that, if anybody, before I send it to them, because I don't want them to come back and be like, oh yeah, we forgot this part. So if there are any other areas that we want to change already, I feel like now is the time, so we don't keep going back to them. That's all, so.
Yes, like I said, I skimmed over it, didn't read it 100%, because I trust that you and Bruce probably are more picking it apart and our attorney, so if you guys don't see nothing, I guess I can't think of nothing offhand.
In other words, everything falls on you.
Pat, did you have any other comments? I know you had read it and had a couple questions earlier.
I think you answered my questions.
Okay.
I didn't have nothing.
Okay, so I will change it to 125%, send it back to Verizon. Steve?
No, it's going to say it will come back to us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
in July.
Right.
Assuming they're done with it by July. You never know, attorneys sometimes.
Maybe
take-
put a note on
After
there.
they get back, I will bring it back. When
Put
they
a
get
note on
back
there,
to
you
me.
have a good feeling the council will approve it with
Yeah.
120%.
Yeah,
So if we can hurry and get this done,
Yeah.
we, in the July meeting.
But I do think 20-25% is reasonable myself.
Okay.
We'll see what they say.
All right, and then C is Motley Youth Swimming Lessons Donation Request, page 36. This is something that we've done in the past. Looks like they're asking for the same amount we've always had, and we have a,
With 550.
yeah, we have a special fund that you kind of use that out of anyhow, because, so I'm looking for a motion to approve that.
I would make a motion that we donate 550 again to the swimming program.
Second.
Okay, the first motion's made by Hutchinson, second's made by O'Regan. Any more discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Nuisance list is 37 to 39.
The only thing that I saw, number 32 and 34 are duplicated.
32 and 34
Correct.
are,
Mine's not.
full, you
don't want that.
Oh, my bad. I withdraw my comment.
Denied. So we need approval to have these our nuisance list, and you guys will send out letters then, right? That's what's gonna happen?
Yeah, we'll do a check and right just before we send out the letters, make sure they haven't taken care of it. And then
Okay. Sounds good. I'm looking for a motion to approve the nuisance list.
I will make that motion.
Okay, motion made by Johnson, looking for a second.
I'll second it.
Seconded by Carlson. Any more discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. E is update the Motley Code of Ordinance, Minnesota Basic Code. what's that all about, Lacy? Is that the one we just updated?
No, you can ask Pat. Pat
Oh.
asked for this to be on the
This is
agenda.
all the rest of the ordinances that we did not update. We just
Okay.
updated the land use ordinances. This is the rest of them. We adopted the basic code, I think, 15 years ago or something. And we got the basic code through the League of Minnesota Cities. They have since then, updated it 2 or 3 times in them, I believe. But anyway, it came to my mind that we updated the land use ordinances, and in doing so, we found out that an awful lot of it was outdated and needed to be updated. And the basic code is also a living document, it needs to be updated regular. I just think it's time that we take a look at that and look at updating that.
Are you volunteering?
It's gonna be a lot. I'm willing to work on it, yes. But it's gonna be a lot of work for us and for staff.
Yeah. How do we proceed with that?
I think the city clerk would help with the lead on that, but it would go through the League of Minnesota Cities,
And just kind of copy off what their updates are?
Yeah,
their
and
updates, and then we customize it to our city.
correct.
With
There's
the
some
help of our-
customization that would need to happen. A lot of them are very standard. You look at them, it's like, well, this never really applied to Motley. So,
Do we want to put a committee
but there's
together?
also fees that will go with having it codified by the league. Roughly 3,000, I think, was the estimate we were given.
2,500 to 3,000 for that, and then you're gonna have some attorney's fees
Possibly additional
involved.
attorney's fees.
It's gonna be a long process with a lot of work, just like the land use ordinances were, and.
Hopefully not that long.
No, hopefully not near that long, but it will take time, and I just think it's something that we need to do,
Good idea.
you know, but
We do a committee, or do we just let Lacy work on it, and then, but at some point, I think we should have somebody involved.
I think we should have a committee, and then at some point get the whole council involved. You know, have some work sessions, but that's further down the road. We're not gonna get this all done in 2 or 3 months.
Right.
We may get started in 2 or 3 or 4 months, but
Lacy, how would that work on your plan, or?
Yeah, I mean, I think there are some that I think are more pressing than others that we could start with. I don't know if you guys wanna find the money in the budget this year, or if you wanna, I think it's gonna take, like Pat said, it's gonna take a while, so we might not get to the
Finish it.
financial part of it until next year anyway, so we could include that part in next year's budget, but we could begin the work now. With that said, we also know that elections are coming up. And if we work on a bunch of it that, if there's a full new council next year, almost, then it could all change. So I don't know when you guys wanna start. I have some ideas of what would be more important